Manly Seagulls, huge upset against the Melbourne Storm. I think this might have been the only game I got points for on Face the Music this week.
Correct.
But I'll be honest with you, I did not see this coming in any way, shape or form. I was just swinging for the rafters there. Timmy, Manly, very good performance.
Swinging a hit for you, mate. It was a good one.
About time.
Manly, hard to get a gauge on. Always have been. But what I will say is this rivalry just continues to deliver. Storm and Manly for years and years. Every single time they get together, you never know what's going to happen, and they put on a show. And like, I don't know how many. There's a few genuine rivalries still in the NRL, but every time these two teams get together, one of them can be heavy favourites. It just never pans out that way. And again, Melbourne were heavy favourites in this one, and Manly just turned up to play footy. They completed at 90%, and they were the better team. They deserved to win. Obviously, it was sort of a dramatic end of the game with the penalty, but yeah, Manly with a huge win down there against the odds, they've kept their season, their finals hopes alive.
Thoughts, Tammy?
Yeah, didn't see it coming for sure. They kind of, they started so well. The first half was really, really good. It got a little bit tight and nerve-wracking towards the end. But, yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of their players on the field at the moment. That's always been the challenge for them. How do they get him out there? The Turbo at centre thing kind of working. He had a pretty good game, I thought, on the weekend as well. But, look, they've kept their finals hopes alive with one, apart from yourself, Roo, not a lot of us saw coming.
Geez, I thought Luke Brooks had a good game. Just pulled the right reins on a number of occasions, and obviously he was a part of the big moment at the back end. And just on that moment, I hate optically that's how games are decided in rugby league, but it's been a rule for a long time. We're well aware of it.
I absolutely hate it for our game, Roo, but the correct call was made. I threw out in the SC Playbook subscriber WhatsApp chat, blowing up about just saying how I can't believe our game has come to this, and it was met with very mixed thoughts and very polarising between people. Let me be clear, the right decision was made. It is a penalty, and it has been for a number of years. But a lot of people were comparing it to Lachlan Ilias' broken leg. They are not the same incident in any way, and they should not be adjudicated on the same way, because the one in New South Wales Cup where Lachlan Ilias breaks his leg, that was a bloke going in with 10, not to hurt, but to make impact and hit the body and hit the kicker. Harry Grant, he was looking the other way. The kicker was looking the other way. There was just nothing in it in my eyes. As I said, it is a penalty. It should have gone to Manly. They should have won the game. I just think that is so soft for our game.
What are your thoughts, Kempy?
Oh, I just want to bring that fair dinkum department back out. Listen, I'm with you, Timmy. I'm with you, Roo. It's a penalty every day of the week. It's been a penalty. That's what they've made. So I agree. It absolutely was the right call from the referees. But like always in rugby league, we always overcorrect, and we have overcorrected with this stuff. And this is the same as a little bit similar to that try that was scored against the Roosters. Let's just have a bit of fair dinkum. Like, come on, guys. Like, that is not a worry. That is not a thing negatively affecting rugby league right now. We do not have to worry about blokes grazing legs because there's so many injuries. So I just think that we've overcorrected, and look, it comes from a good place. I understand why the NRL have done it. It really does come from a good place. But I think we need to bring the fair dinkum department back out and just go, come on, guys, what are we doing here? It doesn't make sense. However, as I said, I want to make it clear, just like Timmy, it was the right call by the refs. And if I wanted to be super critical, Harry Grant has done it before, and so he needs to find a way to stop doing that. I mean, he got against the Sharkies, he's got sent for 10 for the softest penalty in the history of rugby league, but that has been that's been the standard. So, unfortunately, Harry Grant is just switching off in those moments. Understandably so, the bloke's bloody working his absolute backside off. But he's just got to find, until the NRL do something about it, unfortunately, you just can't touch the leg. And
I'll tell you what, Roo, we can cop it in round 20, so be it. But there's every chance this decides a grand final and a premiership. And shit will hit the fan if it does. It is so hard for a defender to put any pressure on a player going for a field goal now. It is quite bloody hard to try and charge the ball down without any risk of touching them and giving away that penalty, an easy 2-point game over. It's almost like you're giving him a free shot at it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's a definite problem. Yeah. I mean, This is part of my issue with the whole golden point and everything, mate. There's just too many things that factor into this stuff that, if you take a shot at field goal and there's any chance, now that you've got the challenge as well, like all you need, as Kempy said, is just a graze. It's game over. I hate it. It's rank.
It's crazy. It's like they're not. I feel like it's a rule made by a person that's never charged a ball down, because it's like, okay, so hang on a sec. You want me to get high enough in front of him where I'm sprinting out of the line because I've got to be onside for one. Then I've got to go to block the ball, and I've got to be fortunate that his angle isn't so that I've either got to stop on the spot, because you literally, matter of fact, sometimes you'd even have to take a step back because he might move forward into the drop goal. And so we've just got to have some common sense with this stuff. Like basically what they're saying now is if you touch any of their league, it's a penalty, which is crazy. Like, come on, man. It's that putting pressure on kicker has been part of rugby league since its inception. I'm not saying that we need to go back to the days where Jonathan Thurston's getting absolutely poleaxed every time he kicks the ball. But at the same time, when a guy, doesn't leave his feet, when a guy goes to charge the ball down and he just runs his same line through softly, no intent, it shouldn't be a penalty. It really shouldn't.
And just like the context of the whole situation where a player is going for a field goal, whether it's in the final 2 minutes of game and scores a level, or whether it's in golden point, when said kicker is flicked, it's a penalty from 10, 20, 30, 40 metres out dead in front that, apologies Tanner Boyd, but will be kicked every single time, game over. Like, it is such a big call.
Yeah, I thought even...
And I'll just say... Sorry, boys, I got to bounce quickly, sorry. I will say, though, Manly were the better side. Manly were absolutely the better side and deserved to win. So I'm not taking anything away from Manly's win. I thought they were outstanding. And I know Storm fans have been off me for quite a while now, and I'm not going to sit here and say I told you so, because I didn't see this coming. I picked Melbourne. But this is what happens when you don't complete at a higher percentage and you are trying to score points on every single play. It came back to bite them in the arse, unfortunately. I know they've won 6 in a row, so it's been easy to brush it aside and say, Denon, you're just being a hater. I'm not being a hater. I really am not. I want Storm to kill it. I really do. But they need to sort out their... they need to get that ruthlessness back that they had against the Sharkies.
Have you got to go, mate, or...?
In about 5 minutes.
Okay. On the Manly Seagulls, honestly, one of my favourite moments of the weekend, Ruben Garrick, his effort, didn't lead. Well, I mean, it did lead to something. They scored the kick out wide. They didn't convert it. But his effort to chase back on Jerome Hughes, force him to slow down, pass back, then force Grant Anderson to throw, pass over the top, then still be there to just be in the frame, let alone be touching Xavier Coates on that play. It just sums up why we love Ruben Garrick so much.
You said, Roo, a moment of the weekend, like one of the moments of the year. It's just, that is Ruben Garrick to a T. And then kept him out wide because he kept chasing. Kick was missed, correct?
Yep.
And then they end up winning the game from that penalty. And, that effort essentially won them the game of footy. And from Ruben Garrick, who just typifies these effort areas that we speak about so often. And the whole game, mate, he was just class. The amount of kicks he diffused that a lot of others would have dropped, some of his defensive plays all around that, his finishing ability, he was superb for them. Yeah,
it's a classic origin play. I know he hasn't been there. I hope he gets there eventually someday. I think being on the wing is his best opportunity too. But yeah, that was a sensational play. I also thought Takiaho through the middle was fantastic for the Seagulls. He's been a really good signing coming back.
Well, they won the middle, Manly. And as sort of Kempy said, sure it was won in controversial circumstances, they deserve to win. And, where there's been a few question marks around Manly's middles, there has been about Melbourne's too, and that they were better in this fixture. And, SST, Takiaho, he was great.
On top of that, Manly won the middle. They also had to play Jazz at hooker the entire time because obviously Jake Simpkin had to come from the field. I think he's got Nass's elbow in his forehead still. But having to play Jazz at 9, who, I've said before, I think he's a handy guy to have there for 20 minutes so that Simpkin is fresh. He's not a guy I want playing 75 minutes of 9 or whatever ended up doing. Down a forward, they're already down forwards as it is. They're already lacking a forward pack. A very good knock down there.
Very good knock. And as you said,
incredible.
Yeah, sorry, you go, Campy.
I was going to say, mate, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And Ruben Garrick's play, that is why you never allow that bloke to sign with another club, because you build clubs around guys like Ruben Garrick. In a day and age where we've got blokes that are 6'4", 100 kilos on the edge, I'm picking Ruben Garrick 9 times out of 10, unless you're an Origin player, because he is who you build clubs around. That effort that he made, he might have ran at full pace 200 metres. I'm telling you right now, on a rugby league field, maybe once in your life you run full pace for 200 metres. He does it all the time. I think it was one of the bravest plays. What I love so much about that play is no one's, we're talking about it obviously, but most of the wider audience, they're not going to talk about it. They're not even going to think about it because they scored in the corner. So it's like, oh, okay, it doesn't matter. It matters. It won them the game. That kind of mentality is what won them the game. It's the first win the Manly have had down in Storm territory since 2019, I think. It's incredible. And Jakey Trbojevic, I thought he had his best game in years. I thought he's outstanding.
Me and Sarah have been talking the last few weeks, and I think Jake Trbojevic personifies it perfectly, that I think there's guys in the game nowadays who enjoy the game, but they love the lifestyle. Gerbo just loves the game. And for him to walk into the change rooms after, kick the living shit out of a heap of bottles and celebrate almost like a 5-year-old, just pure ecstatic. He's played 80 minutes there. I just love seeing that.
Wasn't that a moment? And then you see all the boys around you who are already sitting down, just piss themselves laughing, like, that's our man, that's our leader.
It's our skipper.
That is what this fixture and winning this game of football and playing finals footy means to Jake Trbojevic.
He had a bit of a bee in his bonnet, didn't he? Went with Trent Liero there, told him to get back on the mark and play the ball properly. So, fired up Jake. He probably brought out the best of him, down there in Melbourne. So, his stats weren't huge, but his impact was enormous.
Let's move to the Melbourne Storm. Timmy, what did you take out of this game for them?
Yeah, big nasty. Nelson Sofa-Solomona. I look at the middles of the Melbourne Storm, and that is, I think, their weak area. And I don't mean their entire pack, because I think their edges are unbelievable. Their middles, I just have a question mark against the best middles in the competition. And if Sofa-Solomona can get back anywhere near to his best, he can create that momentum that we spoke quite in depth about last week, Roo, around when the Storm do get rolling through the middle. They're near unstoppable, what they did against the Knights, because Harry Grant plays off it, Jerome Hughes gets off it. Nas can almost single-handedly create that momentum, but, mate, there are so many brain explosions in Sofa-Solomona, and we've seen them time and time again this year. Like, also the old crackdown on the correct play of the balls and getting your foot to the ball, like, it gets to round 20 and you go, let's bring that one back this weekend, because why not? But that one doesn't suit old Nas, but just his discipline. Like, Harry Grant scored what could have been the difference, a match winner in this one, and they went back and you're like, what could they possibly be pulling this up for? Like, Harry, there's been nothing impeded. Harry's done it all himself, and he's elbowed whoever it was coming out of the tackle, penalty, Simpkin, and that was the game in the end.
Yeah, and on that, Nas, early guilty plea, 2 matches. If he's found guilty, challenges 3 matches. I can't imagine a world where he does that, so I think he'll be out for 2 weeks. Thoughts on the Melbourne Storm, Kempy?
Yeah, I just wanted to back those points up. There's a reason why, whenever we talk about the best front rowers in the game, we never bring up Nelson or Solomona. However, I guess natural ability-wise, you could make the argument that he could be literally number 1. But unfortunately, it's interesting because Jared Warrior-Hargreaves, I feel like he is similar in the sense that he had many brain explosions, but I feel like because he played usually more minutes and, let's say most of the time that aggression helped the team. The worry I have with Nelson is that he just has these runs where, he might play 4 or 5 games and like 4 out of the 5 games, he has a big moment that kind of costs him quite dramatically, especially when, we've spoken about it so many times, but they are desperate for that. And we thought that the guy from the Titans, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name now.
Pahulu.
I'm actually really keen to see it. Yeah, Pahulu. I'm really keen to see how he goes. But, can they win a premiership without Nelson at his best? Maybe. Nelson at his best will put them in a position to be likely to win a premiership. So it really, I wouldn't say it hinges on them. I feel like they've really shown that they can win some big matches without Nelson. But my God, I tell you what, if I'm playing the Melbourne Storm and Nelson's at his best, that's a whole different kettle of fish to Nelson when he's having his errors and stuff. So the problem is that the Melbourne Storm's game plan is built around momentum, and Nelson is the best at it. So he's just got to find a way to just pull it all in, because as we saw on the weekend, when the Storm lose the middle, they don't score all those points. And that's why the Raiders are sitting there going, we'd be pretty confident around the Storm come finals time if they can't get that momentum sorted.
Nas had that moment in an 18-minute stint in that game.
Like, inexcusable.
Yeah. Wild. Hammy, Melbourne Storm, mate?
Yeah, a little bit obviously below their best, a little bit of a blip on the radar. One positive, obviously, Xavier Coates, obviously got the 3 tries, but got through a bunch of work as well. He's come out of the origin period pretty good. But, yeah, Nas, there's been a few times through the last couple of years where we've gone, why isn't he in the team? What's going on? Why are they kind of holding him back in reserve grade or whatever? And I think it's just these kind of brain explosions or these moments that, can be quite costly. Bellyache hates those. It'd be interesting to see even when he's back and available, what do they do there? Does he come straight back in? Not sure. He might have been the missing ingredient in last year's grand final, but at the same time, maybe there would have been a few more moments like this, and you get the sense Bellyache's patience might be running a bit thin. But look, I don't think it completely derails their season. They're still the favourites to win the comp, but probably expect them to do a little bit better than they did on the weekend.
Big 2 weeks coming up for the Melbourne Storm. They're in 3rd place on the moment. So they've dropped out of the top 2. The Bulldogs are 1 win ahead of them. The Raiders are 2 wins ahead of them, and they've got a bye coming. The Storm play the Roosters this Thursday night. Now, Belly said in the press conference that Cameron Munster will almost definitely not be playing this weekend. I believe his father's funeral's this week, so he won't feature. Ryan Pappenhausen, sounds like he's not going to be back anytime soon.
No, he's a chance.
He's a chance, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. You got Nelson out. They play the Roosters this week. Now, the Raiders play the Knights, the Bulldogs play Manly, the Warriors play the Titans. I'm going to back all those top 4 teams to win. The Melbourne Storm could very quickly find themselves a little bit out of touch with that top 2 finish in a home final. And if they lose next week and the Broncos win over the Eels, the Broncos will be 1 win behind them going to the top 4. So it's a big few weeks coming up for the Melbourne Storm.
Said it's currently looking like, I think they'll be fine for the top 4, but you said the home final, Roo, and it's, as it stands, we know things can change very quickly, but it's sort of them and the Doggies going toe-to-toe for that one, unless the Warriors can make a bit of a run. But, yeah, we'll see how things pan out. But the Doggies' run home is pretty good. It could be a Doggies... It's every chance to be Doggies Melbourne, week 1 of finals. Is that going to be in Sydney or Melbourne? Because it's a huge swing.
And the other thing as well, with Brisbane, that spot behind them, chasing them, I think they play Brisbane twice in the next 6 or 7 weeks. So if Brisbane can win those games, mate, the needle could move very, very quickly on the Melbourne Storm. Anything more on that one, Kempy?
Just quickly before I go. Yeah, just quickly before I go. Listen, I know Storm fans think I'm their number 1 hater, but I believe when they get all their players back, I reckon they're going to go on a run. I know it sounds crazy after the performance they've had, but I don't know. For some reason, I feel like when it clicks, it's going to click in a big way. And I think that this could be the making of their season. A loss at home like that in an important match, it could be. So I've got faith that they'll turn around. I've got faith. But I guess we'll see. What they do is they definitely need to sort it out. That's for sure.